So, in light of, well, I was thinking about doing an alien video. I've been on an alien kick for about a week now. I don't really know why, but I just, got the message that I needed to, right before Christmas, I needed to start researching aliens. I read it on comments on a YouTuber that I love. I read it on her Instagram. Somebody was predicting a ton of UFO contact for 2019, so I started to study up, and I was thinking about doing a video on it, and then yesterday there was the sighting in New York, and ever since that I just kind of feel like I don't really have a choice. I just feel like it's important. I wrote down a ton, all of a sudden I just started writing, and a ton came out, and it's kind of like bits of all the information I learned, but also in a harsh, messagey kind of way, the way my readings are. So I'm going to read that, and I'm going to just expand on each of the points, because I was writing so fast, and it was there's so much that needed to be written, and it all came out at once, so it might not even make sense. I haven't really read it back. I did once, but okay. Anyway, now I'm rambling. This YouTube app I have for creators tells me I only have the first 5 minutes with you people. That's where you guys, tend to give up on me. So, okay. Aliens. I want to talk... So, first of all, the type of aliens that I was sorry, my head kind of hurts. I'm just going to put these up here. Please don't judge me. None of it fucking matters anyway. I feel an apocalypse coming. Other people feel an apocalypse coming. And not even an apocalypse in the way that might be seen in as bad. Don't look at it as good or bad. Just look at it as change. Change is coming. Change is coming. We can't keep going on in the way we have, and I just have learned so much information. Alright, if you don't know Edge of Wonder, go right now, pause this video and go subscribe to Edge of Wonder, or just go put it in your watch later, because I just learned so much from them about the deep state, which is the government, and things that we aren't supposed to know, basically. I just learned so much. But yeah, and then also go look up Conjure Queen. She has so much divine information, and she just channels, and she's just out here telling us how to be okay. And I feel something coming too. I have been trying to... It got kind of off track because of the holidays, which there's another thing I was thinking. Isn't it interesting that at some of the most spiritual points in the year, me and my friend Julia had talked about this, at the most spiritual points in the year, when we're supposed to be, when there's the most energy and the veil is the thinnest, that is when we pump ourselves with sugar. And on Halloween, we've got all these kids and people eating candy when the veil is thin, and we need to be putting good in our body, because we are what we eat, right? And around Christmas, we're drinking all this alcohol. Spirits can come through spirits. Anything with a portal, anything with a face is a portal, okay? Think about that. Anything with a face is a portal. So, it's sorry, I just got, they were flowing and then they stopped. So anything, okay, yeah, so around the holidays, we're all drinking spirits. When we cross over thresholds, when we cross over into the new year, we're drinking spirits. When you are drinking spirits, your soul wants to leave your body. Your soul wants to leave because it's easier to become detached. And also we're water. Spirit runs through water as well. Human spirit runs through water. So then these other spirits that were never human, they come in. So yeah, they try to keep your guard down at the most magical times of the year by pushing an agenda to eat bad and drink alcohol and just keep you distracted. That's what my main my main thought has been is that I've lost my focus and I've been so distracted by, like, a dead-end job and, like, outside things. And I kept thinking, like, I'm not going to say their name because, like, I don't know what that repercussion would be, but because I see a lot of people on YouTube don't like to blow people's spot up, but, like, the sisters, you know who they are, the sisters that are in the public eye, that their last name starts with a K, that they're very rich, all women at this point, okay? All women in that family, starts with a K, is their last name, like, that, I just keep hearing in my head, like, stop subscribing to that shit. That shit goes deep. That's another video. My eye just twitched. My left eye just twitched, which means that's a bad omen. Okay, so right eye means prosperity's coming, left eye is a bad omen, okay, guys? So, like, I'm gonna stop talking about that until I get further into this, but, like, that's a whole nother video. Basically, stop caring about that. It's a distraction. It's to distract you from the bigger picture. And also, those people are being controlled by the elite. Those people are being controlled by the people who make this country, who keep the human race a slave race. Oh my god, it goes so deep. It goes so deep about Earth and, like, what it's become, but I just have so much to say. Anyway, so basically I feel that, so there's the elites, and they're the reptilians, and most people, they don't like to hear this, it probably sounds like it doesn't make sense, like, because as soon as you start saying, like, oh, lizard people, like, that, no, that's not it, like, I feel like it's gotten a bad name, like, chemtrails, like, there's this woman in one of the towns over us, this really cool rock shop that I like to go to, and she's very passionate about the chemicals that they put in our air, okay? And she's very passionate about this, but she's also very passionate about the fact that she doesn't like them being called chemtrails because she feels like it, like, she feels like it, excuse my outfit, sorry, I just went to a dance class. She feels as though that name has gotten a bad reputation with it, and as soon as people hear the name chemtrail, they kind of shut down, and they start to think that this is hogwash, and, like, this can't be real, that only, like, crazy hipsters talk about this kind of shit. Like, so they try to use a different way of explanation. What I'm going to do here, too, is also going to try to be a better form of explanation. Like, please look into all the different types of aliens, because it's too much for me to tell you. You have to do your own research. There are, unless I do a bunch of different videos. If you guys comment and leave me comments saying you want me to do these videos, I'll do the videos. Because I have a strong nagging right now that, like, Spirit's telling me, like, and my candle is going crazy. My lights just went a little weird, or something did. Spirit's telling me I have to make videos right now. Like, was not on my, I don't know, this isn't my favorite thing to do, anyway. And I also, like, I work a lot, but anyway. So, you have to look up the different kinds of aliens. There are many different species of aliens and different kinds of aliens. And there is also, the theory that different forms of these aliens are, like, humans further down the timeline that are coming back because we've screwed up our DNA. Okay, so anyway, what you need to do is look up the different subgroups of aliens. Today I got a message about the lizard aliens, the Dracos. The Draco alien, and that's because the Draco aliens have integrated our society and taken our power from us. They've taken our power symbols. They're making us more like them. We're nothing like them. We in all actuality, in our natural organic human form, are actually nothing like them, but all the time, and in everything, pretty much everything new that comes out, is a form of manipulation to bring us down their track, to enslave us and keep us in the pattern that we've been in for years and years and years. Now, there's a theory that the Earth has kind of become this experiment that has been playing the same cycle. Okay? It's almost like we're a quarantine space because there's so much wrong here that the galaxy is kind of like, if you can picture, and it's so interesting because like if you can picture what we do to test on animals, like, and I know a lot of people aren't okay with this anymore, and it's probably because you can feel that that's the cycling, repeating energy that is being done to you. Like, if you can picture a scientist in a science room doing experiments on an animal, like, all that animal ever knows is the cage. But then outside of the cage, there is the room, there is the scientist, and then outside of the room, there is the building, and then there is all the rooms within the building, and then outside of the building, there is the town, and, like, the streets, and then outside of that, there's the city, and then that's what space is like. I always think about us, I think of us, we're like Horton Hears a Who. I just watched The Grinch with the little boy that I nanny, and, like, we are the Who's, and we think that we have to stop thinking that we're greater than, because we are the Who's. We're not greater than. There's so much more outside of ourselves. So that's one theory, is that pretty much that's what we need to picture space. Like, space knows all about us and has an agenda with us. And we are, not all of us, the mass majority of us are ignorant to that, but a lot of us are waking up. A lot of us are refusing fluoride and cleaning out our pineal gland, right? A lot of us are starting to channel, and a lot of us are starting to go back to our natural organic state of being spiritual beings. We are a soul having a human experience. But we are in these incredible human vessels that have all of these. We've been given this incredible gift to be able to reproduce and, like, be physical and active and, like, dance and work out and all the things that our body can do. Like, humans are pretty incredible. It's just like the perfect system. So other people want, and then we can continue the cycle and have children and live on. And so other entities want that. And then also there's, like, in the theory of grays, like, gray aliens, they pretty much just use us for experiments of reproduction, because the story goes that, like, there was such bad nuclear war on their planet, like, they just blew each other up and gave up feeling and compassion because they felt like it was, like, holding them back. And so eventually they just ended up going through all this nuclear war until they trashed their bodies, they trashed their insides and lost the ability to reproduce, probably because they're supposed to die out because they have that, you know, and they have that mindset. But anyway, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, there are thoughts that, like, this is us. Like, this is us coming. These are humans coming from the future, coming, like, who are time traveling, coming through the time warp, and coming back to try and right the wrong, or figure out, not right the wrong, no, they don't want to right the wrong. They're coming back to figure out what they've lost and figure out how they can make it work for them, which is very interesting to me too, because, like, they say those in the elite and the royal bloodlines and in, like, the president and, like, everything like that, like, not necessarily the president. That was not correct. I'm just talking right now. So, okay. Hold on. So they say the elite and the, like, just look up the elite. You guys need to look up the elite. But these are like the royal bloodlines, and these are the really rich people, okay? There's like a certain amount of them. And if you look it up, these people control all of our food, and they control all of our, like, everything. Like, the same, like, 7 companies, I think, own everything. So these certain people own everything in America, if not the world. I'm not sure. So anyway, so these people, there's so much like incest and like breeding, like keeping it in the family, you know, which is like a lot of what they did in ancient Egypt because they wanted to keep the blood royal, and like, which is goes back to more Saturnian worship. But anyway, so if they did, you know, breed enough throughout the timeline within the family, who's to say they didn't fucking ruin their reproductive system? And along with the nuclear war from all of the incest, because, you know, at this point we know that causes medical issues because it's not supposed to be like that with the human body. I'm going to go ahead and read this paper now because I have just ranted. All right. Okay. So this is how the message started. They want you to become famous so that they can control your body like a meat puppet for their New World Order slave agenda, so they make being rich and famous the desired goal, with social media being the setting stage for each humanoid. So, I have read that a lot of times once people... so I read that a couple things. I read that these Draco aliens are shapeshifters, and that they can shapeshift into what they want us to perceive them to look like. I've also read that we are living in a simulated matrix. But I've also read, which I found this to be very interesting, and I feel this the strongest. And if any of you wonder why I believe this stuff, is because there's an inner piece of me that, and I know you probably feel it too, and it probably scares the shit out of you when you hear this. Like, there's an inner piece of me that when I hear this, I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. Because my whole life, I haven't really felt like I fit into this system, or like this system wanted me to succeed, or like it was helping me out. Like, I just felt like it didn't like me very much, and I just didn't get it, and it wasn't, the pieces didn't come together. When I look into the spirituality, when I look into the metaphysical, when I look into what's bigger than what's on our little dandelion and Horton Hears a Who, it's like Horton's screaming at me. It's like Horton is screaming at me, and I'm just a little who, like, I think I hear something. Maybe I should listen a little better. And Horton's like, finally! I've been trying to tell you that somebody's coming here to blow all of you away because they don't care. They're using you as slaves. They could give two shits. They use you as food. They eat our food source. Like, if you have melanin in your skin, oh, they suck that shit right up. And your light source. Anyway. And this is where people get lost, but really, I want you, if there's something in your body that says, I need to turn this off, I can't listen to this, that's because it's a fear that's saying, that's too real, I feel that, I remember that, I recognize that. Because before we come to this earth, we make a soul plan. In my opinion, in my belief, what felt right to me when I was reading it, is I really feel like our soul, if we are, you know, a good being, we decide what we're going to do, and we lay out our plan of what we need to accomplish in this life, and like what kind of karma we need to, either what kind of karmic debt we need to pay, or what kind of karma we need to collect. And the point is to ascend, right? The point is to, like, for me, The point is not to come back. I don't want to come back. I want to continue on my spiritual journey and continue on as a soul. The entire earth, we know for a fact, like a lot of spiritualists agree that the entire earth is ascending to the 5th dimension. And we're in 3D. We're in 3D, the physical dimension. Well, yeah, this dimension is not for everybody here. I think a lot of people are recognizing that they're far more spiritual, so we're skipping 4th, going straight to the heart, going straight to the 5th. So, as Conch Queen always says, I hope you've been doing your work. But anyway, sorry, I just got scared my camera was going to cut out. So, anyway, I hope you've been doing your work. But yeah, so in the 5th dimension, we can take our physical bodies with us, but there's going to be a certain point when we cannot. But like the soul, as long as you keep doing your soul work, you can keep continuing and keep progressing. That's the main goal. Okay, so I've learned that the Draconians, what they will actually do is like a parasite. They will come into the vessel, the humanoid vessel, and then they will feed off of the vessel, and it's like you are still you on the outside, like a shell, like my body is my temple, like you are the shell, but like the Draconian is living inside of you. They are living within you. And it's just so interesting because eventually, obviously, like they're like a parasite. We need to consider them parasites and we need to consider them thieves, okay? So this can live in your body for a certain period of time, and then eventually, like, your hair will start to fall out and, like, your skin will start to not, like, it just, the human body rejects this energy and this vibration because it is not, we're evolved past it. Okay, so what I find interesting is they say that a lot of celebrities end up getting cloned. Now I wonder, and they say that the elite are made up of Draconians that are keeping our race enslaved for their agenda. So my thought is almost like, do people kind of gain this stardom, gain this celebrity status, and then once they're there, the Draconian parasite enters their body, and then, like, for a certain amount of time, they are in that body, and then eventually, like, that body starts to decay and deteriorate, so in the meantime, they've created a clone, but it's, like, with the spliced DNA of the reptilian, or maybe the reptilian inhabits this as well, I'm not really sure, but either way, these celebrities are getting cloned. And when I really looked at it, like, I was like, what if celebrities what if they're not getting plastic surgery? What if they're all getting cloned, or like, reptilians are going into them? Which was, like, really scary to me, because the more I thought about it, the more I realized that everybody is starting to look the same. They are all starting, some of my favorite people are starting to all have the same face. Like, first of all, when you think, I'm just going to say their name, when you think about the Kardashians, like, they all have the same face now. They all used to look different. They all have the same face. And there's a photo out there, please look it up, of Kylie Jenner and her possible clone. Like, the clone is the one we see today that's got, like, the real square face. Think about it. Like, all plastic surgery is doing all this squareness to the face. Very reptilian. Very dragon-like. Okay? Like, so the person in the front is the Kylie we know today, like, perfect hair, perfect makeup, huge lips, big long claw fingernails, she's like this. And then there's what looks like old Kylie in the back, like real Kylie back there, not looking too hot and in the shadows, and like, why is she like this? That fucking scares me. And also, like, remember when, like, Kylie was, like, flat out, like, yeah, I've been wearing a ton of wigs, like, all my hair is just basically wigs. Like, what if she was, and my eye just twitched? I think I'm onto something with that. My right eye. So what if she was, like, starting the transformation, her body had been taken over by the reptilian, and her hair was starting to fall out, and she's like, yeah, I'm wearing wigs now. Like, but, damn. That's a lot. Okay, who else has a square the square, perfect plastic surgery face. Lady Gaga. When I saw her, like, when Joanne first came out, I was like, what the fuck? I love Lady Gaga. I love her. Oh, I'm, like, looking at the poster on my wall that I have of her. I've loved her for years. And when I saw her face, I was like, who is that? That kind of looks like Lady Gaga. That can't be Lady Gaga. And someone was like, yeah, that's her. Nah, that's not her. Like, it's, like, kind of giving me a headache thinking about it. Because, like, they all just look the same. They all have the same face shape. They all look the same. You know who else is starting to look a little different? Who was acting out and now she's looking a little different? Cardi B. Cardi B. She was acting out, throwing her shoe at Nicki Minaj. You know, getting wild. People weren't really liking the way she was acting. That makeup artist came out and talked about her and said about how she was really treating, you know, the average person. This is starting, like, the face of the celebrity is starting to look really bad. She's not really being very relatable. All of a sudden her, and I say the face like the person, the human celebrity is starting to look bad. All of a sudden her actual face starts to change. I'm like, now I see her and I'm like, why does Cardi look so different? Yeah, maybe she's getting plastic surgery, maybe not. Maybe she's a clone. Maybe she's a Draco. Maybe, like, where are all these... I have a feeling that all of these celebrities are trapped somewhere. Like, I feel like because they were falling into that bad vibration... No, I don't want to say bad. They were falling into that lower vibration, thinking they were about to come up with the elites, and then they realized that what they were dealing with wasn't even human. How about Kanye? Kanye's losing his mind right now, and who he involved with? Like, ever since he been involved with them, he's losing his mind. I think that's a pretty that's a red flag. But it almost feels like, I heard this on one of the YouTubers I was watching, it almost feels like he's fighting it. It almost feels like all the mental health that he's, like, going through right now, this is his metamorphosis. This is him fighting back. This is him, like, not falling into it. And, like, in that video, you're such a fucking hoe, I love it, that one, his mom is giant, like an Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were giant, and he's, like, looking up to her, and, like, he's, like, yeah, like, getting all his messages from her, like, I think he's got strong ancestral connection, and maybe connection to the Anunnaki, too. And the lizards were trying... And remember when that picture came out around Easter and everyone was saying, what'd you do with Kanye? That's a mannequin. That's not the real Kanye. Where'd you put him? Like, maybe they were trying to infiltrate and his spiritual army was like, no. And that's, like, his secret message in there. This is just the shit that, like anytime I see anything, this is all going through my head. Like, message. Y'all, when you watch shit, you need to put the pieces together. Okay. That was only the first sentence. Okay. Yes. I'm just going to reread it. They want you to become famous so they can control your body like a meat puppet. Now you understand. For their new world order, they want a pure bloodline. They want this. They're also very satanic. And not satanic in the Satyrian way. Like, they use a lot of Satyrian symbols, but, like, they've taken Saturn and they've flipped it upside down. Like Aleister Crowley, he took everything and flipped it upside down. He took everything and when it was right, he made it left. When it was right, he made it wrong. Like, they flipped it. So, like, all of Saturn, the planet Saturn, all of its good aspects have been completely ignored. All of its healthy, light aspects have been completely ignored. That's another thing. We have to take back our Saturnian symbols, and we just have to take back Saturn for ourselves. Contra Queen says that all the time. She says, these symbols that they have you guys fearing are our symbols. They're our symbols of protection. So that's why we take them back and we put them on our body in necklaces or in earrings or maybe draw it on yourself. Get it, like, if you get a tattoo, make sure that you actually respect and connect to that sign, because if you are not actually respecting and connecting to that sign, it will bring you despair. I will say. So anyway, also something going to tattoos, I did want to say, like, if there is an apocalypse coming, the best thing I could advise you to do would be to, like, they could take everything from us, but they really can't take your skin. If you're getting tattoos, make sure they have a strong protection meaning. Like, I've literally got my grandmother's face on my body. I got my guardian angel guarding my body. No one can ever take that from me. Like, they can take your amulets, they can take your spiritual tools, they can take your weapons, they can take everything. But, like, as far as that goes, they can't take that. But yeah, they want to create a new world order with just their pure, satanic, evil, dark, draconian blood. And so they make being rich and famous a desired goal, with social media being the setting for each, setting a stage for each humanoid. So it makes it really easy to keep track of us all with the internet. It makes it really easy to access us all with the internet. It makes it really easy to focus on the wrong thing. To focus on selfies and promoting yourself for your looks and, like, the distractions. When in reality, we can use this against them. We can connect with the entire world. Like, half my subscribers aren't not subscribers. Half my watchers, I have 8 subscribers, which, thank you to my 8 subscribers. Fucking thank you. I know one day I'm going to have many subscribers and I'm going to be like, my first 8 subscribers, you were with me. But anyway, like, half the people who watch my videos are not from the country I'm from. So I reach, like, that's incredible to me that people are listening to me from across the world. That's so incredible and beautiful to me. We need to take back our symbols and the things that they've used to enslave us. If you can't stop looking at a phone, if you can't stop looking at a computer screen, a TV screen, you are scrying. That's a black mirror. You need to scry. You need dice. You need cards. You need a candle. You need smoke. You need water. You need anything you can think of. You need a crystal. You need a crystal ball. You need anything you can think of to scry, to tell the future, the past, to listen to your messages. Whatever. Like, if you keep reaching for it's a black mirror, a regular mirror. Scry in a mirror. A mirror is a portal. A black mirror is an even bigger portal. It was used by the ancients to scry. Okay? So, like, please, all we do is stare at our black mirrors all day, and you know what? They're choosing the messages that are coming into us. They are giving us the messages. That's not right. Our messages are supposed to be downloaded. This mirror is supposed to be empty so that the messages can flow. Pick up something else to scry with. Whew. Okay. I'll just keep reading this. Eventually, your body will rot from the inside out, and they will clone you. They are pushing AI because it makes us more robotic and far away from our true nature. So yeah, so that goes with what I was just saying about the black mirrors. Like, they're pushing artificial intelligence, they're pushing electronicy, what the fuck? They're pushing electronics, they're pushing technology, they're pushing these things because, and they're pushing artificial intelligence, like Siri, and these, like, they even, you know who Sophia the robot is? If you don't, look her up, okay? Like, there are human robots, humanoid robots, and they make them look that way to appeal to our compassion and our emotion and to get us to trust them. And also, anything with a portal, anything with a face is a portal, okay? This thing has a face. So not only is it connected to the the entire internet, but it also has a face. So it makes me feel like it can channel too. And Anyway, they push it because they want us to be less compassionate. They want us to give up basically what makes us human. They want to take us farther and farther and farther away from being human, so that we are more and more enslaved, and that we are more and more just not caring about what happens to us, because we're literally food to them. They herd us like cattle, and even first experimented on cattle. Okay, so before humans went missing, they would just find a bunch of, like, slaughtered cattle, or, like, abducted cattle, or the cattle they would find would be experimented on, or it was that, and also I think there was, like, a treaty within the United States where the first deal was, like, they were using cattle. And also, they create synthetic clones made out of cattle, too, okay? So, like, these people are versed with cattle. They look at us the same way they look at cows. And, like, we are all one, of course. I'm not saying it like that. But, like, you need to look at it in our perspective, because we are literally just mimicking the energy. We are cycling it. We are in a generational curse, a cyclical curse. We mimic what we are. It's like with a kid. I heard this great thing, not a great thing, but an important message. I forget what it was, or who told it to me, but it was like, the dad goes to work and gets yelled at by his boss, and then he goes home and he yells at his wife, and then the wife yells at the child, and then the child yells at the dog. Think about that. We are literally perpetuating that constantly through our society, and that is what they are perpetuating into our society. So when I say they look at us like cattle, we need to think of how we look at cattle. We look at them like livestock. We look at them for milk, so we look at them as a food product, and we look at them as a food source. Not much of us look at cattle as companions. Some of us do. Actually, I think a lot more of us do. A lot more people are becoming vegan. I think I know a few people in my life who are in 4-H, but, like, it's just, that's how they view us. They view us as food source and food product, and a source to experiment on. Like, I'm sure in school you had to experiment on a frog, but if somebody brought in a human, you would be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I'm not fucking dissecting a human, but when they brought in the frog, I'm sure some of you were really disturbed. I know I was disturbed and a little scared, but I'm sure there were some people that were like, it's just a frog. That's how they look at us. It's just a human. Okay, get this. This really struck me, and it's giving me chills thinking about it. Because I really don't like zoos. I find zoos very disturbing. I went to one in Peru, and because I only went to zoos when I was little, and it seems kind of magical when you're little, because you're kind of like, I don't know, maybe you're just having a fun day with your parents, and you don't usually go out, and it just is, like, cool and magical, but, like, I went as a teenager. I was, like, 17 when I went in Peru, and also the conditions are not as strict over there, like, the sanitary conditions and, like, the amount of animals they can keep in a cage, there was quite a bit. Like, a lot, okay? And a lot of the animals at the zoo that I'm not saying all zoos there, I'm saying the zoo I personally visited, from my memory and from my perspective, it seemed like a lot of the animals were sick or, like, lethargic, and it's giving me a headache thinking about it. It was a really draining experience. Apparently, they have zoos on other planets, much the way we do, where they keep humans for, like, viewing purposes and just, like, a fun day out with your parents. That also just made my eye twitch. My right eye, so I feel like I'm on point with that. That's just really sad to me. Like, we have to stop mimicking. We have to choose not to feed into that energy. I'm talking aquariums too, people. Like, they're fun and they're magical and it's, like, beautiful to see that experience. But, like, it's come out a lot that, like, the way they treat their animals isn't always nice. And it's just like, why do we need to capture things and put them in cages for fun? That's not right. I don't know, now I'm just preaching. But how would you like to be in a cage on another planet, scared, not knowing what's going on, and everybody's just coming to stare at you? Like, please put yourself in those shoes. Okay. That is why we need to go back to our natural, organic frequency of the earth. Oh, that's my phone. That's my, ringtone. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna turn it off. Oh. I'm sure that was kind of spooky because that sounds so alien-y. Okay. That is why we need to go back to our natural organic frequency of the earth and connect with plants and animals and children rather than think we are greater than or superior. Okay? So I feel like it's this mentality like, oh, we're the only things in the universe. Oh, we're better than animals because we can verbally communicate. So, or for whatever reason, people think we're better than animals, so we decide that we want to eat them. And, like, I eat animals too, okay? But, like, I'm not telling you not to eat animals, but we just need to respect them. Because, like, if you had to eat a person, if you, say you were in a situation where you had to eat a person, you would at least respect that person. You wouldn't just be like, haha, like, the way I feel like the way we consume animals at this point is so mindless. Like, up until recently, actually, on Christmas, my parents made a lobster dinner, and it really fucked with me, and, like, it was just it's giving me a stomachache thinking about it. It was very disturbing to, like, I didn't watch them die, but, like, it made my cousins cry. Like, when my little baby cousins, like, they freaked out, and they put the lobsters in the pot, and I just felt so disturbed that our food was in a tank, waiting to be consumed, and then it just died, probably painfully. And the whole time I was just thanking it and apologizing and just saying, thank you, I appreciate you, I see you, I feel you. And it just made me realize, like, how unpersonable it all is now. Like, somebody hands you a sandwich with all this meat on it and you just eat it because you're, like, quickly in line at Subway and you're, like, quickly stopping on your work break and you just eat it and you don't even think about the animal that was slaughtered and that died to make that one little sandwich for you for your one meal of the day. It's just a lot, you know? And, like, if that was a human, you would care. You would think. If we were in a situation where it was like that, like, I don't know. It's just deep. Yeah, so we just need to stop thinking that, I feel like we just need to be more aware and just stop thinking that we're better than, I also feel like so many adults just feel like they're better than children or smarter than children, but I just feel like children have the most messages and they're the most clear portal to source. And that's another thing. Where do you think all our missing children go? Like, that's a whole nother video. But that innocence, that pureness, it's exactly what they want and what they feed on. Okay. So eating the food like that and, like, not having compassion and being unaware and, like, connecting to the TV and, like, everything robotic, it keeps us in lizard cold-blooded energy, lizard-brained trauma energy. So this keeps us feeling cold-blooded, less compassionate, less aware. And did you actually know that the part of your brain that controls trauma is called your lizard brain? Now, I learned this years ago, and my numbers were just 4455. That's some beautiful numerology. So, I learned this years ago when I was going through some therapy, and I was learning all about the brain and how it stores trauma and how it deals with trauma. And basically, trauma, it almost is like a brainwashing. I'm learning with this MK Ultra because they basically brainwash you through trauma. So trauma can be brainwashing, and it turns off the different facets of your brain that are able to think. This is the very simple version. Please do some research yourself. Maybe take a psychology class if you're interested in it. You'll learn all about the parts of the brain. Or go to therapy and tell your therapist you're interested in it. Like, educate yourself. This is shorthand, okay? This video is a stepping stool to much more research, okay? Anyway, so the other parts of our brain turn off and are not able to function, and we obviously basically start to dissociate. And I heard somewhere, I read it or I saw it in a video, that when this is happening, when we're being traumatized, the soul actually leaves the body because it's like too much for it. So the soul is too pure and it actually leaves the body, which makes so much sense. This then leaves the body an open vessel, though, which is very dangerous, and it leaves nothing on but the lizard part of our brain. The lizard part of our brain is the caveman part of our brain. That's what I was taught in therapy anyways. The oldest part of our brain that's got all of our primitive instincts. It's like, basically, it tells you, I'm maybe dying right now and I need to figure out how to survive. So then it either goes to fight, flight, freeze, or submit. It is widely known about fight or flight, but freeze and submit are always left out. That is very frustrating to me because I feel like there are many instances that are life or death, or that your brain perceives to be life or death, where you will or might freeze, or you may have to submit to save your life. Okay? And just endure the situation until it can end and you can get out of it or run away or whatever have you, you know? Many people submit to save their life. Many people freeze in a situation like that. Freeze and analyze. Okay, you ever see a cat when they're walking and they hear a noise and that's that frozen moment of hypervigilance, of listening, of what's my next move, okay? And that you might have many responses, but either way, it's called the lizard brain. It's the primitive part of the brain. It's the brain that says, I don't care about anything but staying alive. I don't care about that guy. I don't care about my mom, my dad, my sister. I don't care. This brain in this human, you're just a body now. There's no soul. The human brain in this human body just needs to stay alive. Now, the other facet of this, a healthy brain wants to stay alive, okay? Now, a non-healthy brain might have different feelings. So, a passively suicidal... So, I had this really good example that I used to learn when I was, having to go through all this therapy. If a car was coming, a healthy brain... If a car was about to hit you, a healthy brain would jump out of the way, because it would go to lizard brain, and it would say, uh-oh, I need to survive, get me out of here. If a passively suicidal person so passively is like you're not making the active motions to be suicidal, but you're deeply suicidal in the sense that if you died, you would be happy, you would be okay with that. Or you wouldn't care, maybe you just don't care, you're in a state of apathy at this point. So, a passively suicidal person would see the car coming and not move because they're like, oh, death. That sounds good to me. Or they just don't care, or they're not paying attention. Their brain is not functioning in a healthy way. Now, a suicidal person would actually jump in front of the car. They'd see the car coming, about to hit them, and be like, this is it, this is my chance. Now, this leaves room for another topic I'm going to cover in another video, but I feel like a lot of depression and a lot of these mental illnesses are actually like possession. I feel most mental health issues stem, if not all, in my experience, everyone I met, and I met a lot of, I was in therapy for a long time, and I met a lot of sick people. I would say every person I met, their mental health issues stemmed from trauma. So, this trauma will then, make the soul leave. Now that I'm learning this, it just makes so much sense. I had this suspicion for a long time. If it makes the soul leave, and then we go to the lizard brain, now you're an open portal for anything. So if that lizard brain is healthy and it's keeping you alive, and you've been doing your spiritual work, and you have your ancestors, your guides, guardians, and angels, that's going to come in, and that's going to save your life. Now, if you haven't been doing the work, or you've got parasites on you, interdimensional parasites on you, then what comes in could be something far more demonic or negative. Which just that, it makes so much sense, because I can remember times in my, experience of my lowest points and literally feeling possessed. And then I'd come back. Astral projection is another thing. I'm going to do a video on how to protect yourself if you're sleepwalking, too. Because I know a couple of people who are sleepwalking right now, especially with all of this astrological things going on. But, yeah, so basically these lizard aliens, these draconians, they want to keep us cold-blooded like them, like cold-blooded lizards, and they want to keep our energy in our lizard brain. They want to keep us in our lizard brain so that we're easy to control, so that we're easy to manipulate and possess. And when I think about it, when I talk to people of older generations, they do not understand how many people in my generation are suicidal or have mental health issues, and I just feel like all the spiritualists are being born at this point, and it's like we are all being traumatized by the way this world is. It's just not working for us anymore. But at the same time, what better way to keep the spiritualists down than to traumatize them? And Conjure Queen always says, they know who we are. Okay. It's becoming important to know where your food is coming from. And if you consume meat, in my opinion, the safest way would be to hunt yourself. I aspire to someday, I don't really want to hunt animals, but I would love to have someone in my life who hunts, and I would go with them and just pray and think the entire time, go for the experience. I don't think I'd actually want to kill the animal. Anyway, always remember to give thanks to the animal you are eating. Think about if you lived on a farm. You would spend a certain amount of time nurturing and raising an animal before you eventually killed it for food. Think first of all if you could do that. If you could even do that. Okay? If yes, you would probably take a moment to recognize all of the love, dedication, and time and energy you put into your meal/food. You would probably feel humbled, grateful, and a sense of pride. These reptilians literally look at us humans as less than and as just food energy source because they don't want to do. Okay, that's good. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I want to go back to the farm stuff. Okay. If yes, you would probably take a moment to recognize all the love, dedication, time, and energy you put into your meal or food. So really think about that. You would probably feel humbled, grateful, and a sense of pride. To say the least. If you raised an animal, if you were raising chickens from chicks, and then we're, helping, feeding them and caring for them every day and cleaning up after them and, getting the eggs from them and, like, all of that, and then you slaughter them and eat, like, you would probably say something. You'd probably be like, thank you, Billy the chicken, or whatever chicken's name. Thank you, Chicky the chicken. Like, I will miss you. You were my friend. You were my something. Like, you were my animal. You were a part of me. I put myself into you. And now I take you back. And you gotta give thanks. It's very important. We just have to be aware. And it's just so interesting because, like, now all of our food is, like, preservatives and, like, has preservatives in it, and it's fast and it's quick and it's, like, mindless. And it's like, that's how they think of us, so that's how they want us to think of their food, but to think of our food. That way it's just not suspicious, but it's totally suspicious. It's just a perpetuating energy. The energy that's being put onto us, we are projecting out into our world. And the sooner we recognize that it's not our true state, the sooner we can rise up and take back Mother Earth. Because Mother Earth, she's not healthy right now. Just like the rest of a lot of the human race isn't healthy right now. Okay. These reptilians literally look at us humans as less than, as just food energy source, because they don't want to do the deep spiritual karmic work on themselves. So they steal our light. They are thieves. So Laura Eisenhower, she's very interesting. If you want to know about aliens, definitely look her up. She's so smart on all this. She's like the great-great-great-granddaughter of Eisenhower, the president. But anyway, President Eisenhower. Anyway, she says that they just want to keep feeding on us because they don't want to, they have the resources and the ability to go back in the timeline and do the deep karmic and spiritual healing that I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably do on a daily basis. I know I'm constantly faced with doing karmic healing and spiritual healing and just like trying to listen to my spirit and just trying to be a spiritual being and have compassion and love. And I saw homeless people today and they were on the side of the on the end of the highway. I feel like that was really hard for me because it's like I was in an area of the town and that probably sounded really stupid and selfish. But it wasn't hard for me for the reason that you might think. It was hard for me because I was upset that I didn't know how to get back around to them because I wanted to get them like McDonald's or something or like any kind of food. There was but even that is perpetuating the cycle. I was in a part of the town that I didn't know. I didn't know, I was in a half hour away from my house. I didn't know where I could get food around here, and I didn't know how to get back around to the highway, and that I was getting off of, and I just felt like that was not a good place to stand. So then I had to, but it left me feeling very sad and feeling guilty, and I should have gone back, and I should have brought them food, and all these things that I probably should have done, but then I had to do, work with them. This is what I do every day. Just like I'm sure you do this every day too. You see things that they trigger in you something, and then you think on it, and then you do the work. They don't want to do the work. This is like when you meet somebody who's like, oh, I want to blame this, and this on that, and just not do the work for it. It's reminding me of so many things in my life. I just don't really have a good example for you because we're about an hour in and my head hurts. But it's, so they don't want to do the work. They just want the easy way out because they literally have the ability where they could go through the timeline and go back and fix their mistakes, but that would be work. They could do the spiritual healing, they could, but they gave up their compassion and their sense of caring and whatever because they felt like it was holding them back. Well, in reality, they're not able to evolve and they're not able to, they just don't want to connect to real light source. They don't want to do it. So they would rather feed on us. And I don't know about you, but that's not okay with me. And we are so much more than food. And it just really had me thinking deeply about all the things I consume. And, like, even the plants I consume. Because, like, you're eating something that's alive a lot of the time if it's raw. But, like, we just need to be grateful and give thanks and recognize that we literally, like, everything around us is us. We are all one. We are all one energy. And we also just need to awaken to what's going on beneath the surface and understand that this is all coming to light soon. The veil is being lifted. We can't hide from it much longer. Well, not we can't. We can't hide from it, and it can't hide from us. Too many people are waking up. Wow, that was a super long alien video, but yeah, I hope you liked it. If you liked it, leave a comment and let me know you did. Just leave a comment anyway. Let me know what you think. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you feel like it. Also, if you're my friend and you didn't know that I thought this way, please don't think I'm crazy now. I really just, this is what resonates with me and it makes sense to me. And if you don't feel that way, then that's fine too. But I strongly feel there's a day that's coming soon where we're all going to be faced with the truth that has been, like, in front of our third eye for a long, long time. Conjure Queen keeps saying, don't look with your two eyes, see with your third eye. Think about that. Stop looking with your two eyes and see with your third eye. Alright, thank you so much. Thanks. And hope to see you again. Alright. Have a nice day and night. Peace.